This past Sunday wrapped up the final week of the NFL's regular season, and Evan, it definitely did not disappoint.
No, Jace, definitely did not. In that final game there between the LA Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders, it went all the way to the very end of overtime where Vegas was able to kick a field goal and cash their ticket into the playoffs. But really, Jace, it was down all the way to the final second to really decide who will be in this year's playoffs.
So now we know that Vegas is in. Who else is in the AFC?
Yeah, just taking a look right now at the standings throughout the regular season. As you mentioned, the Las Vegas Raiders are in. They cashed their ticket as the number 5 seed team. They'll be playing the Bengals, who are number 4 here. Both teams finishing at 10-7 on the season. I'm going to choose the Raiders for this matchup. I think that they're going to win, just based on the fact that they've had to win 4 straight weeks in a row to cash their ticket. So they've been playing like their life has been on the line for the last 4 weeks here. You know, what's one more week to make that 5 weeks in a row? So I have them, starting back at the top of the standings. The Tennessee Titans clinch the number 1 spot with a 12-5 record. So they'll have a bye through the wild card. The Kansas City Chiefs, also at 12-5, finished second in the AFC. They will be playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who finished 9-7-1. That one tie is the difference between them being in the playoffs and being with a number of other teams at 9-8. During this, while it's great that the Steelers have made it almost like a Big Ben farewell tour, I'm still going to choose the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I think it's hard to argue against them. They started off maybe not quite as hot as they have in past years, but they're still one of the elite teams in the NFL. The final series here, Jace, is the Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots. The Bills finishing third at 11-6, and the Pats finishing sixth at 10-7. I have the Buffalo Bills in this one. I really like how their team's set up. Just fantastic defense to go along with great offense, and Josh Allen is really one of the star quarterbacks in this league. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills in that one. Coming out of the AFC as a whole, I think I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs, purely based on, you look at them offensively, it's so hard to find another team who can even compete, let alone be better than them offensively.
Okay, so now that we've heard those picks, we're going to move on now to the NFC. How do you see things playing out there?
Yeah, well, in the NFC this year, it was the NFC West season. Unfortunately, Jace, for one of our friends and former roommates, the Seattle Seahawks aren't the team that I'm talking about here, but the 3 others within that division all had absolutely stellar seasons. The Green Bay Packers were the team to finish first. They finished at 13-4, the best record in the NFL, so they will have a bye. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, also tied for actually that best record at 13-4. They finished second. They'll be playing against the Philadelphia Eagles, finishing 7th at 9-8, and they had themselves quite a year considering where they were at last year, and just considering what their future could look like here. The Eagles did do a good job, maybe not good enough to beat the Bucs. I have the Bucs easily winning that game there. Finishing in the 3 and 6 spots was the Dallas Cowboys at 12-5, and finishing at the 6th spot, the San Francisco 49ers. The first team I've mentioned from that NFC West so far, they finished at 10-7. I have the Dallas Cowboys winning this one. They have an absolute unit of an offense. They can spread out the ball to a number of different players there. And then as well, their defense just happened to click this year. Trayvon Diggs leading the league in interception was an obvious huge one there. They had the greatest point differential there. So I'm going to take the Cowboys to win that one. And then finally, in the 4-5 game, the LA Rams finishing at 12-5, and the Arizona Cardinals at 11-6. This was definitely, in my opinion, the hardest game to predict here. Both teams were so close here, very evenly matched up, and obviously they played each other twice throughout this season, splitting the season series as both of them were in that NFC West there. The lone reason that I am going to choose the Arizona Cardinals to win this game is they're playing on the road, and they were the best road team in the NFL this season. They went 8-1. So just for that sole fact alone, I'm choosing the Cardinals. Coming out of the NFC, I think I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys to be playing against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
All right, so this is all going to be taking place next weekend with the NFL's Super Wild Card weekend. Now, Saturday starts with the Raiders taking on the Bengals, followed by the Bills and the Pats. Sunday, you're going to see a triple header. That's going to be the Bucs and the Eagles, and then the 49ers taking on the Cowboys, and finally the Chiefs and the Steelers. And then we wrap up all this football on Monday with the Cards and the Rams. They're going to be playing on Monday night. So, Evan, now we have a lot of football still to watch, but we have some off-season stuff that we can also talk about. So the top 18 picks of the 2022 NFL Draft are locked in. So Evan, what does the top 10 look like?
Yeah, Jace, just going through the top 10, the Jacksonville Jaguars finished the season at 3-14. An unfortunate season once again for them. They will have the first overall pick, followed by the Detroit Lions, who finished 3-13-1. So while that one tie might have helped the Steelers make it into the playoffs, it might not have helped the Lions, as they could have had that first overall pick. Coming in at number 3 is the Houston Texans, followed by the New York Jets and the New York Giants. All three of these teams finished with a record of 4-13. Now at number 6, the Carolina Panthers finish at 5-11. Coming in at number 7, it would have been the Chicago Bears. However, at last year's draft, they traded that pick in order to pick Justin Fields. So they traded that to the Giants. So they will have 2 picks within the top 10 there. Another team also from New York, the New York Jets, will also have another top 10 pick. We'll get to that in just a second here. As we move to pick number 8, the Atlanta Falcons finished at 7-10. They'll have pick number 8. Followed by the Denver Broncos, also at 7-10 for pick number 9. And then, as I mentioned, the New York Jets will be getting the number 10 pick in return from the Seattle Seahawks. Just another note here, Jace, regarding the draft. It's not necessarily top 10 picks, but the Philadelphia Eagles, as I mentioned earlier in this panel, they have quite the future coming ahead of them. They made playoffs, and as well, they have 3 picks coming in the first round. So the future does look pretty bright for the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, well, we still have playoffs to play, and they're going to be getting off this weekend, and they'll be finishing in just over a month. So Super Bowl 56 will be taking place on February 13th in LA. So, Evan, thank you so much for taking some time.